What's up? It's been a while. Of course, with the ongoing pandemic and stuff, I had to put things on hold. As things like filament became scarce because everyone was buying it because they're all stuck indoors with the printers. And shipping times were crazy, so getting enough filament on time to continue working on the project, also worrying about own expenses and everything else, became a challenge. I'm currently working from home now, so I don't have to go in the office anymore. I'm currently working from home, and I will be for probably till August. As you can see, I've done 2 prints since in the last week. I've printed the back plate. This is actually the 4th attempt on this. I lost power twice when I was almost done, and I lost 2 wheels of filament. It sucks. This just came off the printer yesterday. Right now I'm printing the cod piece. As you can see, I've moved from my room to downstairs, and my roommate's coming downstairs. Alright. I printed 2 new pieces. I'm using a new filament. That's called T-Ants, and it is by far the best filament that I have picked out. This looks pretty rough because I've been sanding on it, but comparatively to all the others, this turned out the best. And I'll actually show you when I get to another piece. So I got the back plate here. Scaled to fit, everything lines up perfectly. I've printed off the other leg, and I'll show you the difference. Well, how good this filament is. Like, changing to this filament was a huge deal when I look at the comparisons between this. Like, no other setting changes, same settings, everything else perfectly the same, just 2 different filaments. So this is the T-Ants, or T-Ans, or T-Ants, or whatever. I don't fucking pronounce these names. And this is the Overture filament. I lay them side by side. So I can't use my table right now. And you can definitely tell right here, the difference. See how smooth that printed? And then how not all those lines and everything else turned out like crap. Still gonna use this, but yeah, comparatively this turned out way better. You can tell in like the reflections, so much smoother. This turned out smoother. But now, as you can see, I'm still getting some of that issue up here, and I started thinking about it, and I think it has to do with temperature. And, well, I do have a cheap printer. It's $500. It's a giant printer, and that's cheap for a printer that size. But I'm also thinking it had a lot to do with temperature, because being up in the room, hot room, carpet, other electronics, everything else, air conditioning unit right above it, there's not a lot of temperature control, and it kind of gets crazy hot and everything else. And as the filament cools, it expands. And it's getting reheated and expand and stuff as like the air conditioner turns on and off and everything else, and as the printer head passes over layers and everything else. So what's happening is the layers are getting thicker because the heat is expanding the plastic, and it gets to the point where it starts scraping the nozzle. Even though I'm perfectly leveled, you see down here everything perfectly, as soon as it got up here, as the print went on longer, it started getting really gnarly. So all in all, I think that's it. I think moving it down to the living room will provide better control temperature wise. Now, I've used 4 to 5 different filaments. So far, I've been Hatchbox has been my #1 filament that I've been using primarily for most of these pieces. So this is Hatchbox. The helmet over here, half of it is Hatchbox. The other half is an unknown a brand who's, I completely forgot, some sort of weird, non-popular brand. And then that's Overture, whose people kept telling me was one of the best to go with. It turned out to be the most shitty, because I tried to do the other leg in that too, and it's just like this crap just printed awful. It's very soft, poor layer adhesion. Like, you can kind of hear it cracking, you know, see it bending a little bit. Doesn't do that with that one. That one doesn't move at all. That one's sturdy as fuck. So, again, this was Hatchbox. You still see it doesn't handle temperature very well. Then I got switched to this filament. And yeah, while this filament did get its issues after a while, starting out it doesn't do bad. It doesn't really do bad. Like, this wasn't really bad. It hit the corners pretty hard, but it doesn't do bad. And it's a very durable filament. This turned out perfectly. I guarantee none of the other filaments would have been able to do it this smoothly. So this is the visor. There's a bitch. So this is the visor. I'm doing my video for my channel.
Oh, okay.
You can go through.
I was just wondering if you were talking to yourself.
I mean, talking to my 3 subscribers.
Hi.
Alright. So, anyways, visor turned out perfectly. And I have all the materials I need to finish the visor. I got the Whirlpool clear filament. Not filament, Whirlpool clear thermoplastic. And then I got, I want to open it up. So, I'll using this as a buck. I'm going to heat form this around it. I got to be careful though, because I don't want to melt this filament, but this filament seems to handle pretty well. So I've got this. It's a little bit thicker than I thought it was going to be, honestly. But it shouldn't cause any issues. If anything, I'll do one flat layer and then I'll cut out another cutout layer on top of it. Doesn't really matter. But I'll heat form it, this around it, and then I have my out of the tube. This is a one-way window tinting film. It's a little bit darker than I thought it would. I thought it was going to be a little bit brighter, but I mean, I guess in the light, it's pretty good. So this is one-way mirror tint. So this is what I'm going to be using to get the polarized lens effect. Actually, after like putting that visor in with that helmet, because you can see the helmet like out, it's dark, like a dark metallic blue and a black, and that visor, when I went to fit it to see how well it fits, that blue really popped, and I wish I had a mirror tint that was this color. That would be perfect, because that contrast really looks good, but this will get effect that I want as well. Won't look as nearly as good, but I mean, this is still going to work. You're not going to be able to see in the helmet. It does. It has that nice copper tone. Not that full orange that I want, but still good. Right now the cod piece is printing. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And not going to be excessively long video. But yeah. So downstairs now, so it gives me a lot more room to work and let my room cool off. It's not 1,000 degrees. I'm getting a dog too, which is also another reason why I had to move this down here. I'm trying to adopt a German Shepherd, and for safety reasons, I had to move this out of my room where the dog was staying, for temperature-wise and everything else. So, so a couple things that I'm planning to do. Like I said, I've already started sanding on this piece. I'm sanding it because some of the edges did come up rough because this is extremely durable filament. But that also means the supports are also just durable. So it was really hard to remove the supports from it. So that's why I gotta sand it, clean it up, and then these are probably the two. All the longest time pieces, like this should print in less than 24 hours. You already see it's only been on for about 30 minutes. It's going pretty good. That should be done by the end of the day. This took less than a day. It took like 17 hours. I was also printing it super thin because I wanted to make sure that this was as thin as possible. Because I do need, when I heat form it over, I don't want to get the layer lines. And I don't want to, I will have to sand it, but I'm not going to do too much sanding on it. Again, like I said, I'm not doing too much sanding on everything. I already have another version of the armor planned that I'm already working on. I have the in-game model from Halo 5 of this exact armor set. And I'm going, it actually, the way it's modeled, it actually fits better. When I scaled it to the size of this armor, it actually has a better fit on it than this does. And it actually has, they also took more into account things like putting seams and stuff for where the armor would separate to be able to actually put it on. And they put more thought into that than this. So, more detail, just all around better, more thought out design. Not to bash on the person who created these files and everything else and converted them to 3D, but I mean this was better. This is better than nothing, but I do want to make my own and have the best. So, and the only way for me to get the best is to make my own. So, a couple things too, like that I'm thinking about too when I'm modeling it, because I'm modeling it for the idea that you are going to be able to 3D print it. I mean, if anyone wants it, it's not going to be. So it's not like I'm not making it for Pepakura, I'm making it for printing. I'll have like blockouts so that people can print them Pepakura for sizing and scaling, but for the most, like I said, but those aren't going to be like super detailed or anything like that. One of the things I'm keeping in mind as I'm designing this too, that's why I'm not airbrushing this at all. Like you can see I've already started painting this. That helmet is pretty much done. There's some edge wear, there's some, I need to do some silver around the, where the visor would be. I need to attach the other, the tertiary detail pieces that were printed separately on this one. Outside of that, like that's 80%, 75% done. I'm not going to go any further with it. That's part of paint job. Originally I was going to go, I was going to go black, and then I was going to go with a very dark gray, like iron, over it with an airbrush. So so you still would have like dark against the recesses, but the larger areas would have that silver tone. So kind of like think of it like kind of like it's an ambient occlusion, but I'm doing it in reverse. So I could do it in silver and then go in with the black airbrush and then do it, and that might have been a little bit easier. But I didn't think about it at the time, but that was originally how I planned to do it. And I was going to do sanding on it. Like I didn't sand these, I sanded a little bit. I didn't do a ton of sanding on it, as you can see, or anything like Bondo to get rid of these seams and stuff like that. I didn't really do any of that. I wasn't really planning on doing it. I was planning on doing it, but after I had already decided that I was going to make the second version of the suit, I figure I'm still getting issues getting used to printing, because I'm still not really adept at printing pieces and stuff like that. So this is more so the test armor for printing as opposed to actual doing final production quality. When I make the second suit of armor, I will do all that, because painting is fun. I love painting. But I'm going to expend all that effort for something that's going to become obsolete immediately. Like this is a trial run. This is a prototype. Then I'll move on, and I'll put in maximum effort onto the next piece. So I was like, I'm still going to finish this completion. I'm still going to wear it to cons and stuff like that when eventually we can go back to cons. But so like I said, for the most part, I'm making a passable armor because I plan on doing a much better version of it. It kind of sucks because you want to watch it and you're like, oh, let's see everything he does and see how far you can take it. And it's like, I do know how far I take it and how far I want to take it. I just know at this point I cannot take it with this suit. I will finish this suit because who knows how long it's going to take me a while to convert the file and make it ready for 3D printing. And then there's also the cost of printing materials and everything else. It's going to be much higher production costs, and I want to make sure that I have those funds available when I go with it. 'Cause like this is like I'm paying for it as I get the money to pay for it, and I want to have it when I can get everything I need at once and be able to mainly focus on that. And that'll probably be when I have a better job and everything else. So that's pretty much all that I have to share for this. I'm working on a couple models not related to this that I'm working on. I'm working on an XJ9 model, if anyone remembers that show on Nickelodeon, My Life as a Teenage Robot. I'm making a model. Again, another way to fund the project is I'm trying to make some money, so I'm making some models. So that'll be, I made Gur, and Gur was free. I'm actually since converted Gur, make him more of a miniature than like a big posable thing that you can use as a jar. Making so it's going to stand about yay tall. Definitely will be able to print it on this printer. So I will be able to print it on this printer, but I'm making XJ9 as a figure. You'll have interchangeable pieces like weapons, legs and stuff, like arms and heads for poses and things like that. So you have this whole figure. It's not like I'm not making it completely posable. Like you can bend the arms and legs, but it will have interchangeable parts that you can pose it on your desk like a little figurine. So you have different legs and things like that. And I'm just gonna like go through it and make like a robot series of that. Gur's free. Gur will always remain free. Gur's free. He will always remain free, but XJ9 will be a model that I'll sell once I finish it. Then I'm going to be doing Robot Boy, all three forms. There's a little sleek form, little boy form, and then the combat form. Robot Boy, if anyone remembers that show. Oh, no, Robot Boy. And then I'll do Robot Jones. Whatever, if anyone remembers that on the show, whatever happened to Robot Jones. I'll be doing that, and I'll have like, so that'll be kind of like my robot series. I'll be working on custom lightsabers. These lightsabers will pretty much be prop hilts. For anyone who can, I will be fitting them so that you can put blades in them and electronics, but for the most part, like they're not going to be something that you can swing around. They're not designed for that. They're not going to be designed so that you can just start swinging it around. Filament's not that durable. I mean, you can get something like a polycarbonate filament and then make it that way and then kill someone with it because that shit's durable. If you want to take it at that level, you're some sort of Sith Lord who wants to beat people to death with lightsaber hilts. Because that's the most durable filament that you can get for a printer. I can actually print it on this printer. The only problem is I need an enclosure around it because you need to maintain the temperature in here, so it needs an enclosure to do it. And I don't want to enclose this printer because the heat will literally kill the printer. So I would need an encapsulated printer to print with that filament. And I'll also need special types of heads. Like I said, I was getting this filament was great, and I'm still getting the layer lines and stuff like that as the printer goes on. I've just replaced the head on it, so there's a new head because it fucked up the other head. Somewhere, where is it? Where are you? There you are. So I just replaced the head yesterday, and this is what happened to it while it was printing. It's all gunked up. It's all burnt inside. and I don't know, so I don't know what happened. Again, that was printing for 2 days straight. So, honestly, this is in a rougher shape than, because I changed it, and it was just for printing the thigh piece, but I changed it for the thigh piece, so this was just from printing the thigh piece, so it really fucked up. I don't know what happened there, but this was printing off of another nozzle that I had printed, like basically 7 days straight on that printer, almost 2 weeks worth of printing, like 2 weeks straight of printing on that other nozzle, and still got pretty good quality. So I don't know, maybe this was a bad head and it was clogged. I tried to clean them before I did, but I didn't clean this one. I have like little needles for cleaning. So this could have just been a bad head. These things are cheap. They're like, it's like a pack $4 for like a pack of 10. So I didn't splurge on like high brand stuff, so that's my fault. Part of this stuff is my fault. Like, again, cheap printer. Was working with bad filament. This shit I never heard of before, but it's better than all of that stuff. And then cheap heads. When I eventually become super famous and have tons of money, and I'll be able to afford to get a better printer, that'd be nice. So you should buy when it comes out, you should definitely buy my XJ9 model. It won't break the bank. If you have a printer, it'd be nice. If you have a are we printing it on the resin the resin printer? You can probably print it on FDM, but for now, most of my figurines are meant to be printed on that printer. Lightsabers can be printed here. I'm still working on converting Weibo for printing. Everything kind of took a back burner with the pandemic, so I hope everyone's staying safe. Wash your hands. It's not over. And a lot of people are saying that, but it really isn't. Like, I live here in Austin, and they started opening things back up, which is a dumb idea considering that we saw record high numbers the day before they started opening back up, and we've had no decline since then, and they're still opening more things up, which is stupid, which is why my office isn't opening back up till August, because they're like, that's fucking stupid. So I'm working from home for that amount of time. But yeah, it's impacted a lot of us. Kind of reason why I'm getting a dog is like my birthday is coming up in a few weeks, which will be the 1 year anniversary that my mom died. It'll be on my birthday, so that's morbid. So I'm hoping this dog will help me cheer up and deal with anxiety and stress, because I got myself sick. Apparently I've been making myself sick because I have so much anxiety and stress that I'm making myself sick. So I gotta find a way to deal with that and cope with that. Another reason why I started back on this, because this excites me, helps me alleviate the stress when I think about working on it. So getting started back on this is one step. Dog will be second step. Getting a new job, better finances, that'll be third step. Getting stupid, filthy rich will be the fourth step. But yeah. I said this wasn't going to be a long video, but this is still as long as all my other videos. So, that's it for today. If you guys like my videos, like them, comment on them. I like feedback. I accept almost all forms of feedback. If you can't be constructive, then don't. You can, like, pointing out a problem is one thing, as long as you have a solution for it. But just saying, like, nah, that's shit, you're doing it wrong, fuck you. Like, nah, that's not feedback. So positive feedback, reinforcing feedback. If you see something I'm doing wrong, please feel free to correct me. If you have any ideas, if you know a filament that's better than this, great. If you know any things I can do, maybe ways I can upgrade my printer. I tried looking for see if I could upgrade things like the extruder. Didn't really find much information on it for this printer. More so, it was always the Ender models. But if you guys know, this is the Anycubic Chiron. So if you guys know anything about that, feel free to let me know. If you guys want to talk about anything like printing, stuff like that, if you guys have any ideas on future projects, if you guys want to talk about your own projects, go ahead. I want to hear from you guys. So that'll be it for today. Stay safe and everything else. And yeah, wash your hands and wear a mask.